Okay, so this is video number, I don't know, I've lost count. So yeah, I was just thinking about this because I think I have a certain tendency that I've developed recently because like I'm 31 right now, so I almost feel like my time is running out, and you know, in response to it, like I haven't done enough, or I haven't achieved anything as such. So that's like a recurrent feeling, recurrent thought that I have in me, or at least a part of me thinks that way, as opposed to a part of me might think that I'm eternal and like it doesn't really matter. So I mean, I'm somebody, I feel that you can say like a to some point I'm a man of contradiction as well, but at the same time I'm also somebody who has a range. I mean, that's a better way to put myself. That I have a range of emotions, I have a range of thought, just like any other person in the world, I think, right? I mean, so many people, so many of us have. This is too just a bit too bright. Anyways, so that's what I was trying to come at, is that we have a range of thoughts, a range of ideas, a range of synergies that work together to give us to define ourselves. And it feels convenient to look at someone else's life, someone else's lived life. Let's say, for example, you look at somebody, or you look at some person, and you be like, oh, they did achieve this thing by the age of 31, or they achieved that thing by the age of 31, or this and that, or even earlier than that. You look at people, you look at, let's say, for example, I tend to, because as I was growing up, I was hugely inspired, or should I say, like, I spent a whole lot of time. I spent a lot of time, invested a lot of my time in, um, in entertainment. To put it simply, that I spent a lot of time with entertainment. So I used to like watch a lot of movies. I used to listen to a lot of music, and especially I think with the entertainment industry and stuff, you would see that a lot of young people. Mostly it is like centered around young people. And a lot of the artists, a lot of the musicians, a lot of the actors, you see that they start off at a very early age. So you almost feel like that maybe you're falling behind, maybe you're not doing well enough, right? Sometimes I also envision myself that sometimes I think that maybe if I became an actor or something of that sort, maybe I would have been much more happier with my life, and stuff like that. But again, I think it is unjustified to look at your life or look at someone else's life and try to label it, or try to I mean, I do understand that there is something called success, and like we do appreciate, and it's okay. It's good to appreciate people for their successes, for their achievements, and whatever they are able to get through. It is really important and really cool to appreciate people, but at the same time, I think it's also important to realize that not every person's life is the same, or just because someone achieves success young doesn't mean that they are able to sustain that for a long time, or that doesn't mean that we're shielded by the horrors of life, like just because we're successful, right? I mean, so the point here is that the whole thing about wanting to be satisfied, or wanting to reach a point where I'm happy, and so on and so forth, that probably never really comes about. That never really comes about. You're just going through the motions. You're just meandering through life. That's all there is. And even the most successful of people, I think at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's good if you're financially successful, if you have a lot of money. Of course, it helps you a lot, right? You can travel to a lot of different places. You can do a lot of things. You don't have to, keep calculating or second guessing your decisions all the time. I mean, that I totally understand. But at the same time, uh, there is no point in, like, I mean, see, life is just is. So that's also something that you gotta acknowledge and understand as a whole. And I mean, there's no point in comparing whatsoever with yourself with other people, or vice versa. I mean, it doesn't really work because the equations are different, the calculations are different, the conditions are different. And as a result, it's almost impossible, or should I say, to be very objective about two different people when you're comparing them. So yeah, that's all for today.